Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for another build. This is tile number 14 of the Hidden Valley series. I'm just going to glue up these pieces real quick to get our elevation, and then we'll start carving in the contours of this next tile. So I'm just using a little bit of hot glue here, gluing them up, and then I'm going to mark out the contours of the neighboring tiles. And you can see this piece of foam needs some work. It's a little rough. I'm going to use a craft knife here. I don't cut myself, so don't worry about that. This foam that I'm using, it was an archery backstop, so it's got a lot of arrow holes in it and some tear outs. So we're going to go in and fix some of those areas. Oh, there's a random BB. Okay, that's fine. Just carving away, getting rid of what we don't want to get our elevations. And I've got a tear out on that corner, and that's where it's going to match up to the other tiles. So I'm just going to put in what's called a Dutchman, just cutting out the damaged part, and I'll glue in a little cube of foam there and then carve it down to the contour. I do end up with some scoring lines in here from where I was carving away, so we'll have to take care of that later. We'll probably do that when we start flocking the piece. So I'll paint a good amount of PVA glue into those blemishes, and then it'll blend right in. Just do a little texturing here with a ball of aluminum foil and a wire brush and match up our contours for the other pieces. I glued down a couple of boulders there to cover some of those holes, and I decided to go ahead and start building a rock wall, stone wall feature. So this wall is going to extend over the next two tiles. Might even add in a watchtower into one of them. So I'm just using little pieces of foam that I cut out, put them in a can with some rocks and rolled them around a little bit, and that kind of smoothed out the edges and dented them up a little bit. Gives a nice stone effect. And I needed a little platform here, somewhere where a lookout or an archer could stand. And I'm going to black out this piece with some Mod Podge and black acrylic paint. Paint that all over, and that'll help us build the shadows that we need for our dry brushing. So we'll go in with a dark gray first, and just start highlighting all the areas, and then a lighter gray. So we're going up in values, and you can see those shadows really make this piece stand out. Go in with a little bit of medium brown. Coat that platform there, and then I put a little bit of that here and there and everywhere. A little light brown, bring out even more color and contrast in the wooden parts, and then in with a little bit of green. So I'm thinking where moss might grow, mold and grassy areas. I'll go in with a light tan, even over the wooden surfaces, and that'll give us a nice weathered look. Then we'll go in with our washes. You can see some of those scoring lines there on the foam. Don't worry, we're going to take care of that. It's no big deal. This is a little burnt umber acrylic ink and water, and then a little true green or bright green mixed with water. I had a problem with my washes. They were smelling pretty bad, so you guys came up with a couple of really good suggestions. Ended up putting a little bit of isopropyl alcohol in the ones that I already had made, and then my new batches I'm going to use distilled water. So I'm pretty sure that it's our well water that's smelling so bad. A little bit of Vallejo rust wash. This is just a wet on wet technique, so I actually use the terrain as a palette. If that makes you nervous and you're using this technique, you can always just dip your brush into a pot of wash. It's no big deal. So we're going to get that PVA glue in there. Here, there. I'm just going to leave a few gaps so that we can start building texture with our flocking. We'll go in with some fine flocking, get a good coat, knock off the excess, and then you can see the gaps there that I've left. And we'll go in and paint some more PVA glue here and there, hit those open areas. And then I'll go in with my homemade mixture of preserved moss and yellow flower flocking. I grind that up super fine, sprinkle that on, and that just keeps building the textures. Now I'll go in with a little bit of watered down PVA glue, sprinkle that here and there, and then some medium flocking. You know, if you look at a wild area, it's not all just one level of grass. They kind of tend to clump up. Little glue halos there, I'm just going to knock those out with a little bit more fine flocking. And we'll put in some bushes. A little bit of preserved lichen there. Tuck that into areas that I would think are shadowed. This gives a place for our little critters to hang out. Got little rats that like to run along this wall here. That'd be a good spot for a bird nest right there. So one more piece right there, and then I'll spin this for you and get a closer look. This is tile number 14 of the Hidden Valley series. We only have 2 more to go. So it should be interesting carrying this rock wall across the next 2 tiles. Make sure you leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. You guys have had some great suggestions. We have good conversations. This is a fantastic hobby. I really love the interest that everyone has. I'm going to show you a couple more still pictures. There it is, the Hidden Valley. It's growing. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. See you on the next video.